And good evening here from sunny South Africa. Apparently we have a heat wave, so it's still hot, but it's also summer, so my estimation is that it's really just summer. 30 degrees or so in the daytime and cooling down nicely in the evening, and hopefully we'll have some rain over the weekend. I hope everyone has had a good week. Sorry that I missed the stream last week. I didn't have a lot going on, or that's not the right word. I didn't have a lot. I didn't kind of get my head around actually what I wanted to do, and it was a crazy week. It was a crazy week this week as well, but it's going to be a crazy week next week, and then hopefully it'll calm down a little bit. But yeah, I didn't stream last week. I didn't actually work on my game at all in the last 2 weeks. So here we are, and we're gonna try and get a little bit of work done tonight. Hopefully work some more on the UI stuff, pause the player when you're not, when you're dead, little things like that. Just clean up a bit of things. I have some nice ideas for spawning animations and other things, but I'm trying to be focused and work on the things that, not the things that matter, but I think the things that are kind of lacking in the game at the moment before adding new stuff. Anyway, I thought it would be a good idea just to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of gaming. And I think the first thing that's interesting, and I keep on forgetting to really mention this, Unreal every month gives away a couple of free assets. I don't know what I will do with these assets, but every month when I remember, I quickly go and grab them just so that they are added to my library and you have them forever, so that's fantastic. Right now we have, let me see, we have a combo buffering system, we have a Greek island environment, we have a stylized environment set that might be useful, and I like stylized environments, and procedural NPC crowds that could be interesting to take a look at, and a modular Victorian house. There's been other terrains and environments, etc. Every month there's a couple of assets. It seems like it's normally about 5 or so that's free every month. So yeah, I thought it would be a different thing to talk about in terms of what's available and what is sort of made available by Unreal every month. Then the other big thing that happened, this was last night. It was a bit late for me, so I didn't catch it live. Was the Game Awards was on last night, and it seems that there were a couple of great game nominations and some good winners. So I think overall, in terms of who the big winners were, was fairly fair and reasonable, but let's take a quick look at them. So firstly, Baldur's Gate 3 Game of the Year. I played Baldur's Gate in early access and then kind of got sidetracked and haven't gone back to it, and probably would like to go back to it at some point. Best Game Direction, Alan Wake 2. So I went and bought Alan Wake 1 because I haven't actually played that before either, and so hopefully at some point I'll have time to play with that. Best Narrative Game, also Alan Wake. Best Art Direction, also Alan Wake, so they got a few awards. Best Music, Final Fantasy. The Final Fantasy games tend to have good scores, good music. I never really got into them. I played the online MMO for a bit. Hi-Fi Rush, I'm not sure, but just by the sound of it, it sounds like it's a beat game or something of that sort. Best Performance by Neil Newbon and Baldur's Gate. I think Baldur's Gate got 6 awards. Games for Impact is Shia. Best Ongoing Game, Cyberpunk 2077, which I think is an interesting story, right? Cyberpunk had such a horrible launch. It was slated for how incomplete the game was and how how broken it was. Got pulled off the PlayStation Store for a bit, so to turn it around and be nominated and winning the best ongoing game, that's I think a pretty good feather in their cap. Best indie game, Sea of Stars. Best debut indie game, Cocoon. Again, heard very good things about Cocoon. I believe that a local South African game studio actually did some of the porting work on Cocoon. I know I'm not going to remember their name. Luke Lamo is the director there. Best mobile game, Honkai Star Rail. I don't know. I don't play mobile games really. Best community support, Baldur's Gate. Best VR game, Resident Evil Village. Innovation in accessibility, Forza Motorsport. Best action game, Armored Core 6. Best ARPG, Legends of Zelda. Again, I never really got into Zelda, partly because Nintendo's weren't really a thing in South Africa until much later. Best RPG, Baldur's Gate 3, that's kind of an obvious one. Best fighting game, Street Fighter 6. Best family game, Super Mario Brothers. Best sports racing game, Forza. Best sim game, Pikmin. I do not know Pikmin, I know some of the other games in that list. Best multiplayer game, Baldur's Gate 3. That's interesting, really. Content Creator of the Year, Iron Mouse. Don't know who Iron Mouse is. That's probably a bad sign. Best Esports Athlete is Lee Faker, Sang Hyok. And Best Esports Coach, Christine Potter-Chi. Best Esports Event, League of Legends World Champion. Esports Game, Valorant. Esports Team, JD Gaming. Most Anticipated Game, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Best Adaptation, The Last of Us. I haven't actually seen any of the others. I saw Twisted Metal. I enjoyed it. It was okay. I saw The Last of Us. I thought that was very good. I haven't seen the others. And the best player's voice, Baldur's Gate 3. So there you have it. Those are the winners. If I pull myself towards myself, I'll remember to post these links in the chat of the video so that you can go and read more detail and watch some of the videos. Very quickly, because I think it's a very long list. I'm not going to go through all of it. Then there were a lot of announcements for new games. So there's a new Monster Hunter. Hideo Kojima announced a new game. There's a God of War DLC. There's a Marvel Blade game at Arcane Studios. And I kind of knew the names. I thought I'd just go and take a look at their catalog. If you look at their work in the past, they've done some fantastic games. The Prey series, the Dishonored series. So that should be a pretty good game when that comes out. Sega has some new games in development. No Man's Sky. There's new DLC there. Rise of the Ronin, Skull and Bones. Again, an interesting game that I don't think anybody really knew what was happening there and what they were going to do with it. So it's good to see that that's getting some direction and some attention. And yeah, a lot of new things coming along the pipe. This looks very cool. I really like this art style. I think that's very, very nice. So definitely would be interested in that. Some ex-BioWare developers. This sounds very interesting. A new sci-fi RPG called Exodus. The player will take the role of the traveler, exploring the universe while avoiding enemies known as Celestial. So could be quite interesting. All right. Yeah, there's a lot going on here, so I'll post those links and you can go check them out yourself. Right, so what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and do a restart of the level when you've beaten the boss. On the player death at this point, I'm not going to put in any kind of lives, so I am going to maybe see if I can fix some of the bugs in there. One of the bugs that I want to fix is that the player can move around when they're dead. So that is certainly something that I want to fix, and then I want to see how I'm going to treat the other characters while the player is in a dead state. And I got a few ideas around that. And some articles that may help. Okay, so very quickly what we're going to just do here is we're just going to jump into that. I don't think the desktop audio is on, so let me just switch that on. so that everyone gets to experience my sound. Oh, that's interesting. That actually. Oh wait, of course. When you click away from the screen, you lose the audio. That catches me out every time. Okay, so we're going to just quickly die and see what happens when we die. And that is still working the way we expect. Oh, they hit hard when you're level 0. Alright, so there you've died, but you can still move around. So we probably don't want that. Okay, let's see what the restart does. So the restart, if I recall, does a couple of weird things there, and it also it respawns you in the same place, and then you sort of get killed quickly when they kill you. Okay, now I've respawned in the right place, so now I can summon some skellies. Okay, let's see if they will attack the enemies. Okay, here we go. And I need to fix that text as well. See how the text is still popping up in all weird places, not in the right place. Lots of swinging and missing. Ish, my skeletons are doing alright, fighting back to back. Okay, and now we should die quite quickly. Oh. Alright, and once we're dead, so let's see, it shouldn't actually restart the XP bar, but I think it does. Yeah, so it resets the XP bar. Now the enemy is too close, so he's going to just kill you every time you respawn. So there should be there's a couple of little things I need to fix there. Let's start with the first thing. Preventing the player from moving around once you're dead. Or when you're dead, while you're dead. That is in here. It's probably in the controller. Let's go take a look at it, if we can fix it in the controller. My thinking is that I'm just going to ignore inputs while you're in a dead state. So I don't know if that's a safe approach. Okay, we're kind of busy just loading the controller. Let's go take a look. Okay. What have we got here? Alright, so that sets our selected spells depending on which button we clicked. That is the summon creature button. Okay, so there's a problem there. Okay, so these are actions. Yeah, so that's a set destination. So one option is to check whether the player is alive before doing anything. Well, that means you're going to do that check in so many places in the blueprint, and that does make me uncomfortable, because every time you add another control scheme or another thing, you're going to have to do more of that. Yeah, so that's another place where it's going to have to happen. Here we add the mapping context. I don't know if you can do anything with this. So all of these action maps, take a look at that. So there's an action map. Trigger when paused, reserve all mappings, triggers, modifiers. Okay. Let's take a bit of a look here. I don't know what that is. Okay. Yeah, so one option is to pause the game, but I believe that if you set the game paused, then I have to find where that happens anyway, but if you set the game to paused, then it pops up a paused message. Let's set it to pause. Let's go see what that actually does. And if that does not behave the way that we would like, then we can always go fix that, right? I think that's on the player character when we set the player death. That calls show death. Okay, so here we go. If the UI is valid, get the death UI and enable it. Create the UI. So if it's not valid, go create the UI. And then once it is visible, let's just see set paused. Okay, so let's set the game to paused and paused. Okay, we're not going to try and fix it, we're not going to make it work. We are just going to go see what happens if we pause the game. Alright, let's go see. There. Where did my mouse go? Oh, there it is. Alright, let's go die. Weakling. Okay, there we go, we're dead. And okay, so when the game is paused, it also stops playing the music. The mouse cursor still works. Let's go see. The UI is still working. Let's see. Okay, so now we can't. No buttons work, and there's no UI pop-up, but all the music has stopped as well. That is probably not cool. Okay, the restart is not going to work because the game is still paused. So let's exit and let's just see in the restart how does that. Okay. So there's no extra settings here. We can't tell it to play music even when paused, unless that's something that we do on the music item itself, right? So maybe that's a setting, just like it. The input can input also have a setting. So that is, I think it's an audio cue background. Alright, so let's go take a look at our background cue. Pitch multiplier, override attenuation, prime on mode, disable, blah blah blah. Effects, concurrency. Volume. Okay, so there's nothing here that I can see that continues to play music when you're paused. If you put some user data into it, that could be useful somewhere down the line. Okay, I can't see anything that makes music continue to play when not paused. Let's ask Google very quickly to see if Google has any answers for us. Okay, let's go. Okay. So, good question. Where do we play the music from? I have no idea. I can't remember. The music gets placed in the scene, right? I just popped it in the scene. Yeah, there it is. Okay, so let's go see if there's a setting here. It's in the scene. There's a bunch of the things in the queue. It's auto activate, actives hidden in game, physics tick enabled, can be damaged, okay. Blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, so let's minimize that piece. Okay, let's use the data, auto activate. Can't be navigated, doesn't need to be rendered. Instance. Okay, so then I don't think those settings exist on it. Game mode override, player control class. I don't see any reason for that. Network. Now this feels like it might not be what I'm wanting to fiddle with because I might be changing default bass sound, mix default reverb settings, allow a tick before begin play. That's not level instanting, it's not a cooking problem. So it doesn't look like the setting that they are referring to is actually in this if you drop the cue straight into the wall. So I may need to do something where I put the cue onto something else and then drop that into the world. I don't know if this is going to... No, that's not going to help me. I can't see anything. That's just the transform, so that's where it lives. There's nothing in there, I don't think. Doesn't actually need to be in the HLOD. And all means there's our sound. I don't think there's anything on here unless I missed it. Play multiple instances. Okay, that's a whole lot. Okay. I'm going to live with that for a second, and then what we're going to do is we're just going to, oops. Play it. and then see what happens when we die, and it pauses. Yeah, okay. So that's one option, I guess. That'll do for now. I just want to switch that off. Okay, so that's an option. It'll kind of do for now. Let's go take a look at the game mode. And I wonder now if I can bring that cue into this blueprint. I don't know. I'm gonna just put this on another screen so that I can drag and drop from one screen to another. Okay, let's bring it back. That's what we're going to try and do. Is we're going to see what happens if we try and drag that cue and put it in there. Okay, that doesn't. I don't think that does anything. Yeah. So what I'm thinking of trying to do is fetch the cue out of the game world and set it as a UI sound. So maybe what I should do is actually create a blueprint for the sound so that you can set different audios on it and tell it to carry on playing or not when the game's paused. Yeah, so we're back to probably needing some form of sound manager that you can instruct to do certain things depending on the state of the game. Because maybe once you've died, you want to play a different song, you want to play some different sad music that your player is dead or something like that. So for the time being, I'm going to ignore that. So when you're dead, and we're not going to be too pained by it. I guess what I could do is when you die, I can play some music until you are alive. Which this piece, let's just go see. Oh gosh, okay. I don't want to go into the C++ behind the C++, right? It's busy opening something on another screen here, so bear with it for a second. Right, so this is a game mode. Okay, so we are actually now in the Unreal source code, and I don't know how everyone else's C++ is. Mine is a little rusty. I did use a little bit of C++ not too long ago. That's new. That's a new operator. Back in the day, we just used to use the null constant. That's a pointer. Okay, start spot, new player start spot. Okay, so you may want to set a start spot. Well, okay, so there's some things that we can learn from this actually. Is that potentially we want to set a start spot. And forcibly restart you somewhere sort of out of range of any enemies. But okay, that's I think again a version next problem, right? That is a target. There is no start spot, so I don't know if that's something that sits on the player or on the controller. Here's our character, which then becomes a controller. Yeah. Okay. Rightio. So this triggers need to go back to our player, and here's our death UI, which we can show. Okay, so here we set the game as paused, and then what we need to now catch is and I cannot remember, let's call it here, call it start. Okay, so there it hides the death UI, sets the player, okay, and sets it to restart at a particular place, and let's go to game paused and reset the game to no longer be paused once we've done that. So let's go take a look at what that looks like. Minimize that screen. Bring this one back. Here we go. Oh, miss. Swing and a miss. Oh, okay, there we go. We've died. We still haven't got good death sound for the player. Okay, so when you die, okay, music has stopped. That's a bit boring. And let's see. Oh, alright. Don't hit me.
Nope. Nope. Nope.
I really need to fix that bug, because I think that guy just went off the edge. Yep, that guy just went off the edge. Okay, so the pause game does kind of work. I wouldn't say that it's a complete solution. So what does that solve for us? That means that the player can no longer move around, but it creates some other challenges for us, right? The player, you lose music, and that UI is still horrible, but maybe it's not a bad thing to lose music. Maybe we want to play some different music while you are dead. Yeah. Okay, I'm okay with that for now, for the player death. We still need to figure out why you lose all your XP. So I wonder if we shouldn't take a look at that and see why you lose all your XP when you die. Right. So here we go, set up the death UI. We go fetch the controller, and okay, so this is part of it, I guess, because we're actually destroying self. And we've gotten the controller. Okay, so